Well, she called me a whore and she threatened to beat me up. And she called me a fan. Well, you were a fan.
You were a fan.
But then when she went on to say, I would love for her to hit me. I would love for to have her hit me. And then nothing more for her to be in jail and for them to take her ring.
Spoken by a true lawyer's wife.
I'm like, are you out of your damn mind? Seriously?
That's the mentality of a lawyer and his wife. Do it, I'll sue you.
And then she says, and I'm sure that every time that she looks at that ring, she's seeing my face. What?
No.
No. Right. And now, meanwhile, you have a tattoo on your hand of a ring. Every time you look at that, you should be seeing Kristen's face. Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about The Valley, Season 2, Episode number 15, the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
There is no Zen in resentment. I think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
We start out with Janet going over to Lala's house, and Lala's holding her newborn baby, Sosa, which was very sweet to see.
Yeah, she's cute.
Michelle shows up shortly after that, and then Brittany shows up. So Lala's talking to the ladies, and she's like, oh, you guys all look tan. And they're like, yeah, from Hawaii. And she's like, oh, yeah, how did Hawaii go? And, didn't go great, right? So Michelle in her confessional said she's always said one and done, because then they were talking about another baby after she was holding Sosa. She's like, should...
Does it make you want another one?
Yeah. And
Lala
she's like,
asked her.
Yeah, she's like, it kind of does. And Aaron would like to have one more. So now she's possibly reconsidering. But since this is filmed, they broke up.
They sure did. You know what I think? I think this poor guy got a lot of heat from dating her on social media and was probably like, I can't do it.
I don't blame him. I don't know.
People were coming at him for his eyes. Like, come on. Like, his eyes were popping out of his head. Whatever. I mean, his dog's name was Kilo. So I don't know.
That was a little sus. I
know. It really was. But I think that's what happened. I think he was just getting a real bad rap on social media and he was like, peace.
Honestly, I mean, I think that may have had something to do with it. But I'll be honest with you. There was nothing. And again, we didn't see that much. There was nothing that I saw of him that I said to myself, oh, this is a really great catch she's got here. I mean, the fact that she was living with him, I thought was a little much.
She says at the reunion they are living together and they have Isabella 50% of the time. So now not only does she have to move out, Isabella has to move out, that sucks.
I know. I think that sucks too. And I think that even like I remember back when, Jesse said, Isabella says that she loves him. And we saw the clip and I'm like, this poor kid, like she shouldn't have done that. I just think it was too soon. I mean, okay, you're going to break up. Fine, but get your own place. And unless she couldn't afford her own place.
I don't know. But to me, in my personal opinion, which means nothing to Michelle.
Right.
I think that's a little too quick to have your child, your 4-year-old, who doesn't know any better, say, I love you to a boyfriend.
I do too. But I think hopefully she's learned from this. And the next one,
hopefully.
She'll go a little bit slower, right?
Yeah, because we don't know who broke up with who, right?
We don't.
It just said they broke up. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll find out eventually.
Then Britt's telling them about the conversation that she had with Jax about him having to, pay half the doctor's bills and that, that he says he's going to ask for alimony because she makes more money than him. And they're as surprised as we are that, one, he's admitting it. And,
Right.
We all knew that was the case, right?
Right.
She also said she's not letting Cruz go over there anytime soon until the divorce is finalized and she has drug testing and things like that in place.
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
I
with
agree.
His past, you have to.
Then, I don't know why all of a sudden Brittany felt the need to say to Janet, like, they don't like you.
Yeah,
right?
Why did she do that? If you want to stay out of it and you can't even stay in a room with Kristen saying that Janet saying Danny essayed Jasmine, you have to remove yourself from that conversation. But now you find it necessary to tell Janet that Kristen and
Luke and Zack.
Lucas, they don't like you.
Right.
She's very messy, Brittany.
Yes. Yeah. And Janet's like, well, I don't like them either. And then Janet starts explaining the situation to Lala. Well, she called me a whore and she threatened to beat me up. And she called me a fan. Well, you were a fan.
You were a fan.
But then when she went on to say, I would love for her to hit me. I would love for to have her hit me. And then nothing more for her to be in jail and for them to take her ring.
Spoken by a true lawyer's wife.
I'm like, are you out of your damn mind? Seriously?
That's the mentality of a lawyer and his wife. Do it, I'll sue you.
And then she says, and I'm sure that every time that she looks at that ring, she's seeing my face. What?
No.
No.
And then they show Kristen and she's like, I love it.
And right. And now meanwhile, you have a tattoo on your hand of a ring. Every time you look at that, you should be seeing Kristen's face.
Exactly. Because of what Kristen said. Exactly.
Right.
Because you believe the rumor. That's why you did that and made your husband do the same.
Now, back to that rumor. So I read online, might have been one of the comments in our podcast. They are saying that Ariana's brother, Jeremy,
said it was true.
He's the one who said that this is true with Jason taking his ring off.
Yeah, he sure did.
There may be some truth to it. I mean,
why does this guy have any reason to lie?
Right. He doesn't. He absolutely doesn't. Right. And then we see Jason and Luke. They head over to Jax's place and they're complaining about walking up the 4 stories of stairs. Like, come on.
People, how lazy are you?
Jax is showing them the layout of the house and he says that Cruz's room is bigger than his. He gave Cruz the master? Like, why would he do that? That's weird. I don't know. That's weird.
Found it interesting, though, because then Jesse shows up. So Jax is clearly hosting things for the boys and not including Danny.
100%. 100%.
And then did he say his refrigerator was stocked with beer?
Well, yes, he did.
I'm like, what?
Yep. He sure did.
How about the plane flying over his condo?
Oh my God, I wrote that. I wrote the exact same thing. He must be right near James Kennedy. I literally wrote that down.
Exactly.
I'm like, he's probably
near James.
I was like, he could probably see James Kennedy. So funny.
That really was funny.
I wonder if they took the scene from Vanderpump Rules.
It's probably the same exact
plane.
That was so funny.
They show the plane after Jack says, I like this place better than my real house. And then they show the plane. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
He is so insecure, Jax. He's so insecure. Like, he has to say those things. Did you see the coming attraction for the reunion?
I saw some, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And Brittany seems very strong sitting there.
Yeah, she does. She does. Happy. She needs to be, right? Jax is telling them how he went over to Brittany's house and she was yelling at him and that, about Cruz and that, then she's called him every day since. And she's telling me about the flowers. And I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
How about when Jesse asks where Danny is and Jax goes, who?
Yeah. Yep. I wrote that down too.
Jax. Yep. Fuck all the way off.
Danny, there's alcohol here. So I'm assuming he's not allowed to come here. What?
Yeah. And he said that he's had to call Nia many times to get Danny out of the bar because he was too drunk and filling up girls.
Yeah. Because Luke said, what's the problem with Danny? Like, what's going on between you two? And he said, well, Jack said, I think he's a little two-faced. And Schwartz like, Danny? Now, when Schwartz jumps in.
Yeah.
Right? Schwartz said, Danny?
Yeah.
And that's when he talks about Nia calling him, right? So this is what I happen to listen to Bros and Shows. They recapped this, and I have to agree with them. Their take on this whole situation is that the Jays got together before the season started. Jax, Janet, and Jason. And that was their plan, was to take down Danny and Nia.
I said the same thing last week.
But they didn't expect Jax to have to go to rehab. So now when Jax is back, they have to just go at it hard, the three of them. Because it was on pause for a while, right?
Yeah.
Was on pause for a while.
Jax started this witch hunt.
Yeah.
And I said it last week. Janet is that thirsty stalker reality TV wannabe, and she's going to follow right in line with Jax. And Jason has no spine.
Yeah, I think they're perfect for each other, and I'd
100%.
like to see all three of them go off into the sunset together.
For sure.
Let them all go. Jason, in his confessional, says that when Jax makes mistakes, it gets out to everybody. Like when he, when he does his stupid shit, like everyone's talking about it, but Danny's just kind of gets swept under the rug. I'm like, no, that's not really what happens. I mean, Danny's mistakes was one mistake and it was a year ago. And that's it. He resolved
That's
it.
it.
That's it.
Right.
You're
Because
the one who
if there
keeps
was anything else, we would have heard about it. Like, all they have is him, putting his hand on Jasmine's leg and pinching Melissa's ass. That's all they have until now. All of a sudden, this other story comes up about, well, Jason, Brittany, and Jerk Off with the pink boots heard Danny say, and Jason's like, I didn't hear it. And then Brittany's like, I didn't hear it. So now all we have is Jerk Off with the pink boots saying he heard Danny say, I have a weakness for girls in short skirts, or whatever the hell he said.
Was that like Jeremy or somebody? Or
I don't even know his name. He's that little guy who's friends with Janet. Shocker. Yeah. He's friends with Janet.
I can't remember his name either, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
I could care less what his name is because he's a nobody.
Right. He's a nobody.
He probably made it up if the other two didn't hear. This is all they have. This is what their whole entire witch hunt is based on.
Right.
That Danny got drunk at Jax's bar a year ago.
That's it.
I mean, it's outrageous. If they had more, they would have said more. They got nothing. Jax makes mistakes every time he leaves his house.
He does. So Luke said, I just talked to him and he said he hasn't drank for 3 weeks. He didn't even have a drink when they were in Hawaii.
And Jax goes, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not for you to believe, Jax. Nobody cares.
Right. And Schwartz is like, well, he's putting the work in. Good for him. And listen, 3 weeks is a long time. That's more than Jax has gone without a drink for.
It is more than I have gone without a drink probably since quarantine, which is where my drinking really perfected itself.
Luke also brings up that this is the second time that Danny hasn't been invited.
Yes.
And Jax is like, he needs to take accountability and not preach to others.
What a fucking joke that Jax is telling somebody else to take accountability.
Yep. I agree. It's a total joke.
First of all, Danny's taken accountability all season long. We have seen at least 3 that I can count scenes of him apologizing to Jasmine and Melissa.
Speaking of that, did you see? So, they bought the house in Santa Clarita and they're selling it. They're selling it. And they've dropped the price. It's haunted. It's like,
stop it.
I swear to you, it's haunted. There's like all these things that keep happening. And they had
How are they going to sell it?
I don't know, but they had to drop the price. I feel so bad for them.
How did you find out about this?
I was reading about it online. It was this whole big, it was a whole big story.
So that's legit?
I'm almost positive it's legit. Yeah.
Wow. You sure Jax's people aren't just putting this out?
No, because there was a lot of details that,
those poor, I feel bad for them.
I do too. Let's see.
How about Jack saying that Danny shouldn't preach while he's sitting there preaching?
I know.
I'm like, Jax is like the poster child for hypocrisy. He really is.
He's a
horrible human being. How do you think he got so horrible? He actually, I think we need to pray for him, like for real, because how did he get so horrible? There are horrible people on reality TV, Tamra, Teresa, but Jax is like another level.
He is another level. And I agree with you. I do think that he needs prayers.
I really do. That's no joke.
I do too. Because he doesn't even see it.
Not at all.
He doesn't even see it. I don't know. So then we see Jesse's at his house and he's talking to his dog Malibu. Michelle's coming over and they talk about having some sort of closure. Listen, I think it's good. I think that those two need to be able to co-parent, right? For Isabella's sake. I think that Jesse is still hurt. I do. I think Jesse's ego is still hurt. And she says to him she's glad that he finally had his conversation with Aaron and that she hopes they get to a point where that they can all be friends.
Yeah. I think Jesse was very performative in this scene.
Well, he is performative in general. I mean,
yeah. And I think that she saw right through it. And I think she says it at the reunion. That whole scene was a bunch of bullshit. But whatever.
She also says too, you can't expect me, to act a certain way with you. And then you like call me all these names, like these horrible names. Like you can't,
right.
You can't have it both ways,
Right.
You can't say that you want this to work and you want us to be, cordial and, good for our daughter. And then when I do something you don't agree with, you call me a whore. Like, you just can't do that.
Exactly.
You can't do that.
Exactly.
Sorry, that doesn't
Right.
fly. Jesse said, well, we were both trying to win and one up each other. And Jesse's crying now at this point, literally crying, and said, whatever power I have, I'm giving it to you. That was 100% performative.
Very dramatic.
Michelle says, well, you think the divorce was my fault. This part, like, I like the fact that whether it was performative or not, he said, well, no, like, the divorce is our fault. I agree with that. I don't think it's one person's fault. You don't get to that point by yourself. There's two people in this marriage, right?
Yeah.
And he agreed that he did put pressure on the relationships. They hug it out at the end. Michelle invites him to her Zen party, and everyone's going to be there. Jesse asks what the attire should, he said, what's the attire? He goes, should I wear my ayahuasca beanie? And she's like, no. He's like, well, I lost it at the chateau, and it didn't turn up in Lost and Found. Michelle's like, I threw it away. And he's like, wait, what? And she's like, no, I'm just kidding. He's like, oh, because he was going to be really mad. He's like, I love that beanie.
That was so fun. I really thought she threw it away. I'll be honest.
You know what? We probably will never know.
We'll never know. I think she might have thrown it away.
Listen, if she did, she did.
Yep.
Then we see Brittany gets home with Cruz, and she puts the doormat out that says the Cartwrights.
Bold move, Brittany. I like it.
Yep, I do too. Kristen shows up there, and she's giving her update on her doctor's appointment that morning, that they let them know that Luke's sperm is awesome. He needs to be over 20 million, and he was 58 million, which that's crazy.
Him and Kyle Cook.
That's right. So she went to go get the ultrasound today, and then they wanted to check on her eggs and her follicles. And then after the appointment, she gets the link, the text message with the link for the prescriptions, and they're telling her all these things she has to take. And then they're using the word infertility, and that's when she just really, she really starts to lose it. And listen, if you don't realize that that's where you're at, and this is kind of how you're finding out, that's a hard way to find out.
It is, especially like we said last week, like she was pregnant a year prior. So it's like now, like to hear, like, so she, like infertility didn't seem to be her problem. It was,
keeping the pregnancy,
carrying the baby full term. Yeah.
Right.
So that it's like one more blow. Like, come on.
And then the other thing she brought up, and I'm glad she brought it up, and I think that it's something that definitely needs to be looked at. They keep saying that infertility drugs and infertility treatment is not covered by insurance, and it's not covered by insurance. Most insurance companies don't cover it.
Terrible.
And they should be covering this. Like, there's no reason that they don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reason is they don't want to spend the money. So, the doctors recommend that she starts the hormones, and then if that doesn't work, then they'll start full-fledged with the IUI and the IVF. Brittany gives her good advice. Like, just do it. Just do what they say. Like, don't be resistant. Just let's go move forward, and, you'll make it happen, right?
Stay the course.
Yep. And we know what happened because she has her baby. So,
yeah, exactly.
We know that there's a happy ending there.
Yeah.
And then we see Benji and Zack. They go out, and they are cheersing to their life in LA. You were right. Benji was married.
Yeah, I thought they mentioned that.
Yeah. And he's getting a divorce actually on Zack's birthday.
Yeah. That table was so low to eat off of, wasn't it?
That whole situation was weird. I mean, and especially because the Benji and Zack differential is so crazy to begin with.
Yeah, like maybe it didn't seem so low for Benji, but Zack's like all the way up here. Exactly. And that waiter was so flirting with them, wasn't he?
Well, he was just a little odd. I don't know. He was flirting with both of them?
I thought he was flirty. But I guess, they're gay. He's gay. He's probably like, whatever. It's like a, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And he's on TV?
Yeah, I think that's more what it was about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Benji opens up a little bit and lets us know that it wasn't his idea to get the divorce, and he was really upset about it.
Yeah. He was so in love with him.
Yeah, but now that it's obviously he's met Zack and he's happy to move forward. I did look it up. He is an optometrist. Remember I said he was a doctor?
Yeah.
So he's an
That's
optometrist.
Interesting.
Yeah. Zack, I thought this was interesting that Zack tells him about the scrotox, and Benji had no idea. He didn't know what it was. He didn't notice it. And Zack's like, well, I did it for you. And why? Just why? Why would you do this for somebody who doesn't even know what it is?
Why would you make your genitals saggy on purpose? One.
I don't get it.
I don't get it at all.
No. They're talking about how at Michelle's Zen Party, it's going to be the first time that they've seen Janet since Hawaii. And Zack doesn't know if he wants to be friends with Janet. And he wants Brittany to have his back. And I agree that Brittany needs to have his back.
I totally agree. I think the last scene, and again, we also know there's a happy ending here and that he and Brittany are just fine. Did you see them on Watch What Happens Live together?
I don't know if I did, but I told you I listened to their podcast.
Yeah. So, they were super cute on Watch What Happens Live. They're all good, thank God. But I think what happened at the end, we'll get there, but Zach's clearly wasted. But I think it needed to happen. And Brittany needed him to have that moment, like that breakdown moment.
Mm-hmm. I think that that's true. I do. Then we see everyone's getting ready. Sheena and Brock are getting ready with Janet and Jason. Janet says, I can't drink tonight. I can't let certain people get me activated. Okay, Janet.
Yeah, of course Janet is getting ready at Sheena's.
Yeah.
She's a fucking stalker.
Yeah. And then we find out that Michelle has more issues going on with her mom. The chemo's not working. I thought it was so nice, though, that she gave them all these crystals. And she wrote like intentions for each one of them. I thought that was very thoughtful.
It was extremely thoughtful. And Jax is like, I don't believe in any of this shit. It's garbage.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
And leaves, Jax.
Right,
then go.
Right. I know. I thought, like I said, I thought it was very intentional. It was very thoughtful. I thought it was a very nice personal touch that I've never seen before, right?
Yeah. I totally agree.
I mean,
we've
seen them get gifts, but they're usually bullshit gifts that nobody gives a shit about, right?
Right.
Like this was
like she did a personal message for each one of them. I thought that was very nice.
Then Jax pulls Brittany aside to talk to her. He tells them that, he had the guys over and wanted them to see the spot for Cruz. And, we had this idea for the universal camera. And Brittany's like, listen, once you get into the place and we get to that place where Cruz is going to be, well, then we'll have this conversation. But we're not anywhere near that space yet.
And then he says, you never gave me a shot.
Right.
She gave you a shot for 10 years, asshole. I can't even stand him.
It's funny because he says, when I was in rehab, he says rehab, right?
Right.
But then in other times, he's like, no, I wasn't in rehab. I was in a mental health facility. So sometimes he admits he's in rehab and other times it's a mental health facility. So it depends on what the narrative is or what the fight is as to where exactly he was.
Well, how interesting that he's saying in this scene that he was in rehab and then he goes over and orders a vodka.
Yeah, exactly. And he was just drinking beer.
Was drinking a beer?
Yes.
At his house?
Yes.
He tells her to watch out with the house finances because you'll see over time, they're real heavy. How would you know? You didn't pay your bills.
Right.
And then she breaks down why their house was so expensive.
Yep. The mortgage went from $8,000 a month to $17,000 because of his tax debt. That is insane. That's insane.
Unbelievable.
I mean, 8,000's high, but 17,000, that's crazy.
He should be thanking her. Like that's like a true sign of a narcissist. He should be thanking her.
He doesn't know how to say thank you.
No, he does not.
Even the papers.
And then he says, I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with you. Well, then why'd you keep cheating on her?
Yeah.
Who would want to spend the rest of their life with you if you just keep cheating on them?
Yeah, and then when you're in rehab, why are you texting her all this nasty stuff? Like, why are you being nasty to her?
Yeah.
And she said, are you going to sign the papers? He's like, yeah, I'm going to wait up until the very last day. And she's like, why?
No growth. There's no growth there.
Just because.
Because I can.
Like, what an asshole.
Yep.
What an asshole. So then, I don't know if you noticed this, but Nia orders a Virgin Moscow Mule.
I did.
And then Janet walks over and says, if there's anything that, you want to talk about and get off your chest, I'm here to talk about it. Nia says, well, there's been a lot of hurt, and I think I just need space. I think that was the perfect thing to say.
Perfect. She's very, very smart. She needs space and a breather.
Yes.
And she deserves just that.
Yeah, she does. Jesse's talking to Kristen and Luke and saying that he's trying to be growth and is trying to be the growth and not show it. He's crying again and saying it's overwhelming that they've separated their business and their house. Well, how did they separate the house? You have the house and she's not in the house. So how is that separated?
Well, maybe that's what that $300,000 loan was for. Maybe it was to buy her out. And that's why she was like, okay, so you're taking a $300,000 loan out, whatever, and then I'm responsible for half of it?
Right. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if you noticed this, Brock brings Janet a huge drink. Did you see that?
Yes, and did you see what it said under his name?
No, what did it say?
It must have been a dagger in Sheena's heart. Under Brock, it said Brittany's friend. That was
That's so
I'm like,
funny.
"Oh my god, somebody please check on Sheena."
Oh my God, that's
It
so
said Brittany's
funny.
friend under his name. I rewound it because I'm like, "Did that just say?"
Jax asks Danny if he's drinking, and he said he's on his 7th water of the night. Next, I wrote Jax as being an asshole, but I don't know why I wrote that.
I wrote, if we didn't already know, I wrote, what is Jax doing? Because of the way he approached Danny.
Right.
If we didn't already know he was fired, I would start a petition to fire him. And I'm not a petition starter, people.
So Jesse asks Jax if he's talked to Danny, and Jax said, I should go talk to him. Jax goes over and says to Danny, how are you doing? He said, all right, been a crazy summer, just sipping on some water. I know you had a few get-togethers. He brings it up that I wasn't invited to. I feel that you did that on purpose. I'm glad he called him out on it.
Absolutely.
And if you see, Nia out of the corner is watching the whole conversation
Yes,
and
she
just
is.
keeping her eye up and just standing by just in case. Danny said, and then you said, who cares? He's probably out getting drunk somewhere. Jack said, I'm not saying that. You're not a good father. You're a great father, but you're a terrible drunk. You are. Okay.
So are you.
Danny's like, you don't have a leg to stand on. Jack says, I don't have, I'm not a terrible drunk. I have an anger issue. Wait, what? Are you still on that box? I mean, seriously?
Your anger
There's a
issue comes
difference.
out worse when you're drunk. That makes you a bad drunk.
Yes. And high on cocaine.
Right. Let's not forget.
And then Jesse says, no, you are a terrible drunk to Jax.
And Jesse says, like, I don't know why Jax needs to expose Dark Side Danny. And we don't understand it either. Like, I don't understand.
Because he's trying to deflect. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's all about deflecting.
Nia and Danny became the fan favorites last year. And that just got under Jax's skin.
Yep. Jax said, you got kicked out of my bar for touching girls inappropriately twice. Danny said once, and I've dealt with that immediately when it happened. And it was a year ago. Jax says, you live in this fairy tale world that you're protected and you walk around and we have to look like we're perfect because everyone thinks that we are. And like I said, Nia's watching this whole conversation. Jax says, it's okay not to be okay. Okay, but they're okay.
But here's the thing. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. So Jax is saying, you want everyone to think your marriage is perfect. It's okay to not be okay. We're just learning now that you've had a cocaine problem for 10 years. So who was trying to pretend that their marriage was perfect?
Yeah, exactly.
Who was hiding something? You were hiding a cocaine addiction. Not from everybody, obviously, but we as fans didn't know.
Then Nia walks over and she's like, I almost hit you with my car when you were stumbling around drunk. And then Jack's like, well, I had to call you several times. Who are you walking around like you're Miss America? She's like, wrong pageant. I love when she said that. Wrong pageant.
I do too. And when she said that about almost hitting him with her car, he was like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I'm sure
and
she
how
did.
How about him saying that Nia and Danny would say that they were protected?
They never said that.
I just, I never say never, but I just can't see them saying that. I could be wrong though. I mean, maybe they thought since they were the fan favorites that Bravo was protecting them to not I don't know. I don't know what that could have meant. I hope they wouldn't say that.
Well, I don't think that they did. Danny's like, we never said that. And then Kristen walks over and says, listen, I'm going to step in.
Yeah. But somebody in their confessional did say they had heard they said that. But what I did like was Jason goes, should I go over there? And Janet said no. I mean, I don't like Janet, but I'm very happy that Janet and Jason sat this one out.
Yeah. Then Danny threw this bomb out that he's a narcissist and a liar and he sleeps with his staff.
Yeah.
Listen, this is not a surprise to any of us, and I'm sure it's not a surprise to Brittany either.
He said, and Brittany knows.
Brock goes over to Brittany and asks her how she's done this for so long. And then that's when Jax goes over and orders a vodka on the rocks. I did think it was interesting, though, that Nia says to Danny after this, that was on camera. Danny says, yeah, we're on camera right now. There's cameras everywhere. Because I do think, as a wife, she doesn't listen. She doesn't want him to look like a lunatic, right? She wants to protect her husband.
Honestly, what did he do? Like that
He didn't do
is
anything.
kind of annoying to me about Nia. He wasn't doing anything. He was speaking his truth and he was sticking up for himself and his wife. So why did she have to make that comment? I thought she was making the comment about Jax going and ordering the drink. That was on camera.
I think she was making it about him sleeping with his staff. She didn't want him revealing the thing about him sleeping with his staff.
Okay, I forgot he said. Okay, but whatever.
Yeah, that's what I think it was in reference to. Like, she didn't want that out there. Like, she was actually
She didn't want Danny to be the one to put it out there.
To put it out there, right.
Okay, that I understand. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Kristen,
listen, when you're in defense mode, you say what you think you need to say to get out of the situation. I don't blame Danny whatsoever for making that comment.
Kristen's, when she walks over there, she says to Jax, like, you didn't have to do that. Danny's trying to keep it together. And it's true. He said 0 sleep. He had all 3 kids for the day. Nia went and got glam. Like, that's a lot. Like, they have no idea what this guy's going through, right?
Yeah. How about fucking Sheena? For the ever loving F of it all, Sheena, shut up. She brings up the Jenna thing. Nobody cares.
Oh, I didn't even write that down.
Because it totally fell flat.
Yeah.
Sheena was trying to have a moment and it 100% fell flat. Like, Jenna's obviously been friends with Kristen for a long time. And Janet's spinning it that Kristen did it on purpose. But by the way, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Aaron slept with Jenna 2 years ago. Great.
Well, Michelle does go up to Kristen and says she wants to clear up something about Jenna.
Yeah. And then Sheena comes over and tries to make it all about herself.
Right. Ugh. And Zack jumped in and said, Jenna's not the problem here. Michelle said, well, then who do you think the problem is? And Zack is like, Janet. And it is true. Janet is the problem because when they were trying to have that conversation at El Coyote, Kristen and Michelle, Janet is the one who jumped in and started yelling and screaming and acting like a lunatic. And Kristen couldn't even talk. So it was Janet that was the problem. And that's when Zack walks over to Brittany and says, you literally have her back again. I'm over this. Brittany says, who? And he's like, Janet. Like, she doesn't even know? How can you not know? Zack's like, are you under the same spell like you were with Jack?
Yeah. Kind of.
That then he says, she's going to cut off your effing skin and she's going to wear it. I was like, ooh, little Hannibal Lecter there.
I loved that. That was very Dina Manzo, season 1, Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't know if she wants to skin me and wear me like last year's Versace.
Yep.
Very good, Zack.
And so Brittany's response is like, Zack, stop. And then Michelle goes over to Kristen and says, why don't we start apologizing for calling her a whore and saying you wanted to beat her up?
Okay, but hold up.
Wait,
Janet thinks she's owed an apology by
right.
Kristen for calling her a whore and saying that she was going to beat her ass. But she doesn't think she owes Danny an apology for saying that he sexually assaulted their friend.
Right.
Get the F out of here. That's ridiculous.
I love it, though, when Kristen said no, because that's not what I said. I've actually said worse things.
Exactly.
I was like, go, Kristen.
We're talking about crazy Kristen.
I loved when she said that. And it kind of shut her up. She's like, yeah, what do I say to that?
Exactly. And then Janet goes to leave. But, you wanted to be this reality TV star, Janet. You can't just walk out.
Yeah. So Kristen walks over to Janet and said, listen, I've said some shit ass things. Kristen said, we used to be literal best friends. You know me. I say colorful things. That's who I am. Like, that's what I say when I'm mad. Mm-hmm. Kristen's like, you're not a whore. Janet said, of course, it hurt me. Do you want to be called a whore? Say someone's going to beat your ass. Kristen's like, well, that's how we're different. Like, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, and I don't think it does.
No, it doesn't. It certainly doesn't. Because like I said, she said, like, I've said worse things. Like, all right, we need to talk about, I'll go apologize for that. Yeah, I said that. But this is who I am. Right. And Janet, you and I were close. We were best friends. You know who I am. You know what I say when I'm pissed off.
Right. Zack is wasted.
Yeah.
Luke says we need a name for Zack's dark side.
Yes, he did say that. That was funny. I wonder what that's going to be, right?
And then I love the last thing we hear is Zack go, where's my napkin? And then the show was over.
That's so funny. I didn't even have that.
In like a tortured voice. Where's my napkin? And then it ends.
Wait, before that I have, okay, so then they cut to Janet saying Kristen decided at Michelle's to say that Michelle was a racist. Janet said, I never thought that. Janet says, last year to Kristen, you are ruining lives. You were thrown off an actual show for being an effing racist. Like, the fact that they even brought this up.
Yeah.
Like, seriously? Kristen said, then why were you licking my fucking asshole all summer trying to be my friend? Which is, again, how Kristen is.
Yep.
And she's like, I wasn't doing that. I thought we were friends. No, you didn't. You just got done saying that you didn't.
Exactly.
And Jason's jumping in and saying, you can't weaponize her trying to make things better. I'm like, Jason, this is not your fight. This is not your fight. And Jasmine.
What buzzword are you going to use next, Jason?
Right. And Jasmine and Michelle are telling Jason, let the girls talk. Like, don't get involved.
Right. Back off.
Janet walks away and says, I'm not doing this. And then Jason and Janet, they leave. And then that's when Zack is crying and Brittany says, stop letting her win. And Zack and Jason are verbally going after each other. Like, they're screaming back and forth. Like, and then he says to her, all I want you to do is support me. Like, just support me. Just have my back.
Right.
And then Michelle said, this is actually the most Un-Zen party I've ever been to in my life, which I could not agree with more. I could not agree with that more. And then I have Jasmine said that she has a ring already for Melissa and that I thought this was weird. They're going to the Philippines or Australia and it's going to happen next month.
Well, it happened. She says it on the reunion. They're engaged. And then they show a picture. And he says, when you get married, she says next summer. I'm like, yeah, because they film in the summer. So she wants. So they could be getting married now. If they're filming, I don't know if they're filming.
I would imagine they are if they film in the summer. And I mean, maybe not. Maybe they didn't start yet since it just came out that it also came out today or yesterday that Jax is no longer affiliated with the bar either. That partnership.
So he's fired from the show. He's fired from the bar. Michelle and Aaron broke up.
Right.
Actually, I hope they are filming because then we'll see what led up to the breakup, right?
The Aaron breakup.
They are filming.
Yeah. Maybe we will. Yeah. That would be good. So now we have to wait and see the finale. I mean, the reunion. I can't believe it's going to be 3 parts, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I'm happy it's going to be 3
parts.
Yeah, it's 3 parts.
No, stop it, Bravo.
I know.
Seriously, going forward, I don't think we need any 3-part reunions anymore. 2 should be more than enough. Stop. Because Atlanta is not good.
Atlanta's tough. I mean, we said that. Like, yeah. We still have one more to do.
Stop with the there's no reason for a 3-part reunion for the friggin' Valley.
It was only 15 episodes. Do we need 3 parts?
No, it was only 15 episodes, and it was the same thing over and over and over and over again. How many times are we going to talk about Danny putting his hand on Jasmine's leg? Come on. I'm not looking forward to this now.
Okay. Well,
should be 2 and done.
All right, so maybe we'll only recap 2.
Quite honestly, I'm going to watch Atlanta. And I'm going to text you and I'm going to tell you if I think we should even recap it.
Okay. But the husbands are on. Charles is on.
That's
You're going to recap.
Well, then I'm going to recap Charles.
I know you are. I know you are.
All right. Scratch that. I take it back.
Bravo's no fools. They saved the husbands for the end.
They sure did.
Because they used to put them in the middle. They used to put the husbands in the middle.
Yeah.
They switched it up now. They put them at the end.
Yeah. Well, listen, look at how Jersey ended when John Fuda became the number 1 guy in the group. That's how it ended with the guys out there.
Yep.
So they see a formula work and they stick with it.
Yes, they do.
I am looking forward to seeing the husbands and the baby daddies.
All right. So thank you for watching We Wine Whenever. Please subscribe and give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.